Welcome back to another action-packed episode of Inside Sport Abu Dhabi. Coming up this month, we're at the Abu Dhabi Tour, capturing all the excitement of this elite cycling race. We meet living golf legend Gary Player at his Invitational event, and we look at how the UAE National Sports Day is encouraging young people to get active. Later on, we check out the opening round of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. We meet the man who makes sure that the planes are safe to fly in it, and we find out why two UAE residents decided to run from Abu Dhabi to Dubai and then jump out of a plane. At the end of February, the world's best cyclists arrived in the UAE capital to take part in the Abu Dhabi Tour. As this year the race had been upgraded to elite tour status, rarely has a peloton of such high class been assembled in world cycling outside of a grand tour. Stage 1 got underway in Madinat Zayed, and the cyclists immediately began to show world-class form. The weather conditions were going to be tough, with the riders put through a severe test of endurance to make it to the finish. Now it was down to the sprinters to show their class.
Well, it's going to be Cavendish and Grandel and Bonifacio. Cavendish goes to the front, hits the front, and Cavendish takes the win with Grandel in second place. Mark Cavendish.
And it was Abu Dhabi Tour ambassador Mark Cavendish who started where he left off last year.
I'm really happy with that result today, especially the fact that Team Dimension Data did an incredible job for me. They were phenomenal. I can't fault them at all, and I think it's to the point if I hadn't won that, then I'd have had a lot of saying sorry to do tonight.
24 hours later, Stage 2 started on Al Maria Island, on a route that would again favour the sprinters. With Cavendish looking to take another stage win, all the cyclists kept their eyes trained on the Manxman. After a race across the capital, past some of the best landmarks in the UAE, it again came down to the final 500 metres.
Ewan's going to take this victory easy. Can he hold on? Cavendish in the red jersey, charging towards the line. Kittle though, Kittle at the death, punches the air.
It looked as if young Australian Caleb Ewan had the stage wrapped up, but his inexperience cost him the early celebration, allowing German Marcel Kittel to sneak the win.
It was a split second where I thought, was I really the winner now? But I have that gut feeling that tells you it was enough. And I was super happy to come that late, still to the front, to be able to get that victory. It's super cool.
Stage 3 headed to the mountains and the steepest climb in the UAE, to the finish at Jebel Hafit. The cyclists were faced with an 11-kilometre climb at a gradient of 11%.
Victory is going to be Rui Costa's. Right here at the top of the mountain, Rui Costa takes the win, points at his sponsor's name.
In a piece of cycling history, Rui Costa took the stage victory, handing a win to the newly formed Team UAE Emirates.
Era un po' difficile capire perché pensava che il gruppo indietro poteva ancora fare forti e prendere più avanti io e Zaccarin, ma alla fine più o meno per quello che guardava sul monitore di Garmin il ritmo era molto forte il mio di Zaccarin, per quello era continuare così forte fino all'arrivo.
Stage 4 was at the Yas Marina circuit and the heavens opened. In a desert country, the sight of a waterlogged track had the riders hastily changing their race strategy. But after 26 laps of the 5.5-kilometre track, it was again down to the sprinters.
Caleb Ewan, it looks like he's going to take it. It's going to be Caleb Ewan to the line. He's going to hold everybody off on this occasion. No early celebration from Caleb Ewan this time.
This time, Caleb Ewan made no mistake. That meant that Rui Costa of Team UAE Emirates took the overall classification win on a momentous day for UAE cycling.
È sempre importante vincere, soprattutto qui che siamo a casa da loro. Abbiamo fatto un sforzo grande per stare in un bello momento di forma, per quello voglio dire che è stato il massimo vincere. Molto felice di aver vinto questo tour, alla fine siamo a casa e siamo molto contenti di aver vinto oggi.
Next year, the race returns, and if the talent and standard of competition remains as high, then it's a sporting event not to be missed. With 30 Tour de France stage wins and 4 in the Abu Dhabi Tour, Mark Cavendish shows us how to win at the Yas Marina circuit.
Hi guys, it's Mark Cavendish and I'm here at Yas Marina circuit. As you saw at last year's Abu Dhabi Tour, I'm the king round here. Come with me and learn some secrets about the track. All right, so we're here on the start line. It's important just to relax before. You know, time trial, you need every bit of energy you've got. Stay calm. It's a wide circuit. Make sure you don't sprint out. Like I said, you don't want to go anaerobic, but you know, you need to get back onto your top speed as quick as possible. So to save energy, I recommend you get into an aerodynamic position. I suggest you always have your hand on your brakes. Ready? But get as low as possible. You need to bring that surface area, that frontal area, as small as possible. And you go, settle into the rhythm. Really settle, really ride. Imagine you're pulling a string around the circuit. From corner to corner, you need to keep the fastest line, which is a straight line from corner to corner. Instead of sprinting and braking, you need to keep a nice consistent speed, nice efficient speed. And that's how you're going to keep your muscles working, your blood pumping around those muscles, and ultimately have a fast time. Up, and it's a downhill finish, so you're really going to pick up speed here. But get on top of it before the downhill. That's where you get your maximum benefit of the downhill. Out the saddle and sprint. Really look at that finish. You're going to feel sick with 50 meters to go. You keep going, it's going to end soon. It's going to end soon, and then lunge for the line. Boom. You need to time that lunge right. If you're too early, you lose momentum before you hit the finish. If you're too late, you may as well not lunge, you may as well go to the line.
Last month, the second annual National Sports Day returned to the UAE. Launched in 2016, the event aims to use sport as a platform to promote a healthy, active lifestyle. The event was held at key locations across the capital, with Inside Sport City playing host to more than 25 free sports activities. With the health of the nation being of paramount concern, Abu Dhabi Sports Council Chairman Sheikh Nahyan bin Zayed Al Nahyan and the UAE Minister of Culture, Youth and Social Development, Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, were also present, lending their support to the initiative. This year, UAE Sports Day was linked with the wider GCC Sports Week as the Gulf nations got together to promote a healthy lifestyle across the region.
احتفلت دولة قطر الشقيقة يوم 14، نحن في الإمارات نحتفل بيوم 16، وأيضاً باقي دول الخليج إن شاء الله راح تحتفل في هذا الأسبوع.
The opening of the sports day saw hundreds of school children trying out the activations.
أنا كنت متشوقة لما أجيت، يعني استمتعنا وايد زيادة. عايز أركع ثاني مرة مع أصحابي وأروح ألعب.
It was a fun-filled day for everyone involved and an event that will surely grow even further in years to come. Coming up in part 2, we're at the Abu Dhabi Red Bull Air Race. We meet Jimbo Reed, the man tasked with making the planes safe to fly, and we meet fitness fanatics Eva Clark and Wouter Kingma. The Red Bull Air Race was back in town with the stunning Abu Dhabi Corniche once again the location for one of the world's most exhilarating motorsports. Featuring pilots with the skills of Pete McLeod, the Czech Martin Sonka and current world champion Matthias Dolderer, the scene was set ahead of the 10th edition of the Abu Dhabi stop.
Well, the fascination actually is the freedom to lift off the ground, to feel like a bird. The better you get, the more you want to push the limits to find out what it's really about.
Low level, on the limits, fast, around obstacles. Can't beat it.
To go to the ultimate sport Red Bull Air Race is like the dream of the dreams.
When you turn up in Abu Dhabi, your brain goes boom, race season, let's go.
With the planes reaching 370 kilometres an hour, it's the pilots who put their lives on the line every time they get in the cockpit.
We're getting up around about 350 to 400 kilometres an hour out there, but it's not a dangerous profession. It's a sport that is well controlled with the rules. In the whole of the air race, there's never been anyone injured.
But their experience allows them to push the plane to its limits. It's not just the pilots, however, who play an integral part in the sport. The technicians dedicate their lives to making sure the planes are ready to do aerial combat at high speed.
So, starting at the spinner and propeller, are all the screws in the spinner, and is it solid? Feeling for any discontinuity. There's nothing blocking the static port. Oil doors closed, fuel doors closed. you can go flying, I guess.
With high-speed, low-altitude racing on show, the fans on the Corniche were given a first-hand look at some death-defying manoeuvres. In Friday qualifying, Martin Sonka topped the leaderboard with the USA's Michael Goulian close behind in second place. The final day saw the pilots go head-to-head, first in a round of 14 and then a round of 8 before the 4 quickest pilots fought for the title. And after some breathtaking aerial action, it was Sonka who took the victory.
Everything went very well, team worked very well. At this time, everything just was there.
Now the championship moves on to San Diego as the fight for the title grows even more intense as the season continues. Behind the scenes of the Red Bull Air Race, a specialised team of technicians work tirelessly to ensure that each plane is airworthy. Overseeing the entire operation is Technical Director Jim Reed.
Technical director at the air race, so I look after the technicians to ensure that they're doing their jobs.
Reed is tasked with ensuring that each team adheres to the numerous technical and safety protocols that have been developed over the years.
There's a lot of things that you have to do to put the airplane together, but there's a handful of things that are extremely critical. Flight controls, and are they hooked up correctly? Is the wing on correctly, the tail on correctly, major structural attached, things like this. And so on all of these, the technicians have a checklist that we write and provide to them, and then they go through and do all these items, and then before the airplane gets closed, then myself visually double check every single thing that's on that list before any of the airplane gets closed up, long before it ever goes out to go flying.
He has a highly demanding job with people's lives at stake, but the task comes naturally to Jim, a former aircraft technician himself with over half a decade of experience.
Started as a technician in 2009 with one of the teams through 2014. Took this role on last year. To be a technician, there's a lot of skills, and so if you have done that job, then it's easy to transfer over and look at that job being done correctly.
It's not all work, however, and the job certainly has its perks.
I think the best thing about my job is traveling around to different locations with 300 closest friends and getting to travel the world and have fun, and not having to sit at the same desk all the time. It's fantastic.
Eva Clark holds 11 Guinness World Records. One day, joined by her friend Wouter Kingma, she decided to run from Abu Dhabi to Dubai for fun. That's 128 kilometres overnight.
My name's Eva Clark. I've been in Abu Dhabi for just over 5 years. I kind of like everything, so anything physical that's a challenge, I kind of take it on. Wouter was asking me a whole bunch of questions. What scares you? What frightens you? What are some of your fears? Well, I'm petrified of heights. He obviously stewed over that and came up with some idea of, okay, skydive. And I'm like, what? Hell no, I'm not doing it, So then I went, well, I'll do it if you run to Dubai with me. So we'll run from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, and then we'll jump out of a plane.
A kind of spontaneous act of, let's just do it. We didn't know how many kilometers it would be, at least 100 kilometers. So we started Yas Marina Circuit, because you were training there,
yeah.
Got to my car, got changed. We left passing Yas Island, over the bridge. We were running through Shahama and all these little suburbs.
I think we're running along and this one trips over something and he's whacked himself in the eye and split his eye open. There's blood pouring out everywhere. All these things started happening after, and it just made it adventurous and funny. But we started to hurt as well, because of the terrain, the hard surface at times, and then we were hitting the soft sand, so my hips were starting to feel it. Thinking of blisters because we stopped off and we were doing the toes.
We left at 5 p.m, so we pretty much ran overnight. Yeah, just in a dark space. And that's the nice thing about doing it together, is you can pull each other through.
I'm tired, but I guess that's not so strange. I feel all right. Happy.
Happy?
Happy we're here together.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird if you're here by yourself.
We were really hungry by the time we got to the last exit.
Because you've not eaten for probably about 12 hours into that stage.
They're all cleaning, so they shut down for the hour, and we're like, well, come on, guys. So we ended up eating these cold tuna sandwiches. I really picked up when the sun was coming up. I was like, okay, let's move, let's move.
Let's start running again.
Yeah, let's start running again. And I think the worst part was actually crossing the roads to get to Dubai. All the intersections, the off-ramps and the on-ramps. When we made Skydive Dubai,
You made it.
It was an amazing feeling. We stood out the side and we're like, yep, we're here. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to jump. I'm going to have to jump. The guy that I had jumping with me was, you know, he reassured me and it made me feel calm, and everything they told me to do and it was expected of me was jump out of the plane. I did. And when I hit the bottom, I felt reborn. I was like, I cannot believe what I've just done.
It was amazing. I don't know what I look like on the camera, but it was absolutely amazing, and I can't believe I did that.
And this is what life's about, pushing your limits, getting outside your comfort zone, being the best you can be, and taking ownership of your life. Irrespective of what level you are, Abu Dhabi has a lot of gyms. It's got a lot of sports facilities. It's got a lot of clubs nowadays that you can go and affiliate yourself with to start somewhere. We've got no excuses, not one excuse whatsoever to get out there and move.
Coming up in part 3, we head to the Gary Player Invitational, where we're lucky enough to get some one-on-one time with the great man himself. And we look ahead to the FINA Open Water Swimming World Cup. The Gary Player Invitational rolled into Abu Dhabi at the start of the month, bringing with it a host of sports stars and celebrities. The Invitational, part of the wider Player Foundation organisation, is aimed at raising money for charities across the globe.
Gary Player Invitational is played in 6 different countries in the world to help underprivileged people, and I went to see the produce that is produced by special needs children. All the organic food and the cleanliness and the way it's been organised. It was so impressive to see this. There's going to be a skills clinic.
My dad years ago went to a Gary Player clinic, told me all about it, how he was hitting drivers out of divots in the ground, and it's a privilege to be asked to come, really.
To see guys like Chris Wood, Georgia Hall, hitting balls for a few of us on the range and really giving us their experience, you don't get any better than that.
And we have a little karaoke.
Down, 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 and the flames came higher and through it. Oh, she offers me protection. The ring of fire, the ring of fire.
We want to make this a very, very happy event. The proceeds of this are going to go to a Gary Player gymnasium to help the young people of special needs. When we have the auctions at this dinner, people are so generous. The type of people we invite make an effort to make this a success.
We are honored to have this charity in Abu Dhabi.
You know, it's raising a lot of money, as indeed all of these Gary Player Invitationals do.
This golf tournament is not like a normal golf tournament. This tournament is going to change the lives of people.
Gary Player is one of the greatest golfers of his generation. Having won 9 major titles, including the Masters and British Open 3 times each, the South African has certainly cemented his place amongst the pantheon of the greatest golfers to have played the game. After a tough upbringing in South Africa, his drive to succeed pushed him to the top.
Having been poor myself and struggled a great deal, cooked my own food, ironed my clothes, and a dark house, that was tough. But in the meantime, that was the greatest gift bestowed upon me in my life, because from suffering comes success.
In a truly astonishing career, there's much for Mr. Player to be proud of.
I'm most proud that I am the only man on the planet to have won the Grand Slam on the senior tour and the regular tour. Off the golf course, obviously changing the lives of tens of millions of people.
After he was finished with golf, and when most of his contemporaries were earning a well-deserved rest, Player continued to work, promoting the game around the world. In 1983, he founded the Player Foundation, which has so far donated $50 million to charities around the globe.
The Gary Player Invitational is, to me, very, very important. It's played in 6 different countries in the world. We've raised an awful lot of money, tens of millions of dollars, to help underprivileged people. We've changed millions of people's lives.
And in his spare time, he designs golf courses and runs a working farm in South Africa.
I'm extremely proud of Sariyat Beach Golf Club. It's one of the nicest golf courses that we've designed. We've made the fairways very wide and we made the greens very big.
With still so much to achieve, the great South African is a long way from deciding it's time to retire.
First of all, retirement is a death warrant. That isn't in my vocabulary. I find the secret to longevity is to keep moving, to keep busy, mind-wise, body-wise, exercise, eating correctly, and I have a zest for life. So I certainly don't want to sit down and retire. We want to try and get to $100 million before we hang it up, and I think that as long as I live and I'm healthy, we should be able to do that.
The FINA 10K Swimming World Cup returns to Abu Dhabi this month. As part of a World Series of races, the Abu Dhabi event is one of 11 meets taking place across the globe in some of the world's most iconic waterways. The event will welcome an impressive field of elite-level swimmers, with more than 100 of the world's leading male and female open water swimmers expected to descend on Abu Dhabi later this month. With a cash prize on offer, the racing will be intense. So to see the world's best marathon swimmers in action, come down to the Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club on March the 11th. Well, that's all for this month. Join us again next month for even more sporting action from Abu Dhabi, the home of sport.